Hey everyone, wanted to announce the ceremony slash meditation that will be done on April 22nd. Just want to give you a quick heads up. This is a recording over or a narration over the picture that I just recently painted. That being said, there'll also be a video of me speaking that follows this. Want to let you know that if you can't make it through the video, I know it's a longer video, wanted you to at least get through this portion where I'm talking over my picture, because it has the most important information I want to share with you. But as we prepare for our final meditation in this difficult time, I think it might help if I explain how I understand the workings behind these three meditation events. First, though, like the first event where we said people could participate in their own time zone, this event goes even further because of its connection to the master number 22. Consequently, the energy of 444 through 22 on April 22nd, 2020 exists for a full 24 hours. So although we will be conducting the meditation at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can participate whenever it's convenient for you. Suzanne assures me that we're on the brink of transforming the world, which is partly why the world is so chaotic at this moment. Oftentimes, humanity has always made its most advances after overcoming calamity. So this is such a time. The only difference is that right now we have help in the form of a divine plan, which I've mentioned before in respect to divine magic. Recently, Suzanne posted about the living power of peace and the energetic connection of the 11-11-11 peace ceremonies throughout the world to their Bridge to Peace project and the map of peace, which you can now find on their website, as well as you can also find that posted on various Facebook pages, including my own, where it shows the interactive map of the people who have declared themselves wanting peace in the world. Anyways, two directors from Craig and Suzanne's Idea Foundation for the benefit of humanity were key players in that project. Dr. Carl Kalaman, obviously through his work. However, another important part of the project was Dr. Carol Sue Rosin's tireless work to get a treaty signed by 9 countries banning space-based weapons. I won't go into it here, as you can read all about it on the Bridge to Peace project website, but I wanted to explain my take on the energy behind the events and their connections to my paintings. Suzanne told me that my latest painting, the one that you're viewing now, conveyed her understanding of the human race moving to Globe E. Just like the serpent swallowing its tail, it's connecting the united trees of reason and truth into the tree of wisdom and understanding to the distant tree of life representing Globe E. So I want to thank you all. I love you guys very much. Please enjoy the rest of the video. Share it with your friends and family. It's just putting and promoting that energy out there. The meditation that you're going to be watching on April 22nd is a visual representation of uniting the feminine and the masculine energies within ourselves to then come to a place of peace and understanding and wisdom, that we may transform ourselves and have a balance within ourselves that we'll then see reflected out into the world. So I wanted to talk about the value of adding your energy or intent to peace. I believe many of us want peace throughout the world, but we don't actually see the value of adding peace to, or what a meditation can do to add peace into the world, because we're taught with, a lot of, not so much force, but a lot of action, a lot of effort. There's always, you got to have a war against drugs or a war against abuse or a war against terrorism. There's always that mindset that it has to be a war against something, which involves a lot of negative imagery, and it also involves a lot of this understanding or belief that it requires such great action and sacrifice to bring peace into the world. And when that's not really the truth at all. Yes, there are individuals who are going to sacrifice a lot, whether it's maybe their pride or their ego, or maybe their name, because they add their name to something that a lot of people don't understand at that time. Maybe their reputation's at stake. Maybe it's the relationships with loved ones, because they're doing something that the loved ones don't understand. And maybe, there are those individuals, but it doesn't require this brute force to bring peace into the world, or to have an impact in the world. And so I just wanted to get that to you guys, that there's multiple levels of peace, multiple definitions of peace. Primarily when we think of the word peace, we think of lack of conflict. And so that's kind of at its basic entry kind of level, that there is obviously a lack of conflict in the world when you have peace, but there's also many sayings like peace be with you, or go in peace, or having peace of mind, or resting in peace, or have peaceful thoughts, whatever it may be. And then it even goes into the deeper level of the consciousness and energy of peace, and what Jesus had talked about when he spoke about peace that passeth all understanding. And so that primarily is just a highlight of allowing you to see that when we talk about bringing peace into the world, obviously we want it on a scale where we don't have the conflict globally, and that people may have that peace of mind. But it's also important to understand that peace carries its own energy, or its own frequency, that affects the consciousness and emotional state of each person individually. When we can start to see how peace affects our consciousness because it's a frequency or vibration, then we can start to see the value of identifying with it. So when I spoke about, a lot of us don't necessarily know, well, how is me participating in a meditation or a ceremony or speaking positively to people, how is that going to actually affect or change the world? I'll give you an example that I've always thought about in my life, but I always thought about, when you're passing the street, most of us avert our gaze, we look down or whatnot. We don't want to look at the person coming next to us, or we don't want to say something to somebody, just because. But I've always thought, what happens if that person is thinking about, doing something to themselves or someone else, or they're in just a bad state of frame of mind? And you being uplifting and just saying hi, or maybe having a quick conversation with them, encouraging them, motivating them, who knows if that changes them, right, in that moment, to just look at things differently. And then down the road, instead of doing whatever they're going to do, they become maybe a real big philanthropist, or maybe they create something that generates a lot of wealth for themselves, and they share that wealth with many people, and they help various parts of the world. I mean, you could say that's a stretch of the imagination, but I don't like to think that's a stretch. I like to think that's a possibility that could happen at any moment, any day, where you're going around and just by speaking something positive into someone else's life, you can have a profound effect on them and the world. And so for me, that's just kind of having that deeper understanding that, okay, maybe it may not seem that much. You press play, you watch a 12-minute video, the one on the 20 seconds is going to be a 30-minute video. And how is me just sitting there watching this video gonna change the world? And you don't have to totally understand it, because even myself, I don't completely understand it, but I do know that my intent is to help change the world, and that's what I want to promote out there into the world. So I'm going to do it. And so because I know that frequencies affect my my consciousness, or the way that I feel and the way that I think, then I know that by adding my name to that, or by standing up and taking a stand for it, so to speak, there's great value that's being placed into it. So I want to encourage people, again, if you publicly or anonymously want to participate because you feel like you want peace in the world, but you just don't know exactly how you're going to do it, I'd highly encourage you to participate in the meditation, and know that, again, you don't have to put your name to it. But just by participating in it, you can greatly spread that amount of energy that gets put out into the world. This next bit of information I'm reading directly from the peace page on the Bridge to Peace to project that Suzanne had shared. And so I wanted to read it directly because I didn't want to muddy the waters with the information here. So there's two bits of information I want to give. So it says, when we consider peace as an energy that affects the consciousness, we can see the value of identifying ourselves with it. In fact, from the subatomic or microcosmic, so the very small, level, the consciousness of peace is at the very heart of our existence. In particle physics, scientists have been trying to discover a theory that unites general relativity and quantum mechanics with the four fundamental forces of gravity, electromagnetism, the strong, and the weak force. And many believe they have succeeded with string theory. In watching a documentary on string theory, it wasn't until they talked about the superstrings vibrating in harmony that I saw a connection to peace. A synonym for peace is harmony, and the documentary pointed out when an atom is blown up to the size of a solar system, The tiny vibrating superstring is only the size of a single tree on Earth. We can see the connection to peace. Ultimately, the string theory proposes that at the microscopic level, at our very core, we have quadrillions of superstrings vibrating at different rates, affecting the structure and formation of matter. Another way of looking at it is at the very core of existence, balance, synchrony, and harmony, or peace, is essential to our existence. So Suzanne later writes, the relevance of string theory and my investigation into the multiple levels of peace became even clearer when reading in Dr. Carl Johan Kalaman's book, The Purposeful Universe. His theory that surrounding each atom are miniature constructs of the tree of life. And the tree of life will actually be in the meditation on April 22nd. In turn, each miniature tree is attached to the universal tree of life, which he believes is at the heart of the universe and drives creation. If Dr. Kalaman is correct, and we think he is, this would scientifically explain the concept as above, so below, as below, so above. So I think we want peace. I believe we want peace. I want peace. I know a lot of people want peace. And again, at our core, we're searching for it. And when you look at most of the world's religious denominations, we have the Golden Rule. There are 10 different versions of the Golden Rule. But that being said, we've already come together and deemed it necessary for us to live in a peaceful manner. And we can use the example of the Occupy Wall Streets as a way to kind of highlight why it's important to continue to follow the Golden Rule and to search and wish peace upon everybody. The Occupy Wall Street movements had a bunch of people who believed that the greed of a select few was creating the hardship of so many. And so some of you could have been looking at it as more of like, a protest against greed, whatever it may be. What I looked at it is it was a call for peace, because greed, amongst other things, is antithesis of peace. Okay, when you have a lot of individuals who have a mindset of greed and manipulation, and they're driven and motivated by it, they're at a lower level of consciousness. And so what it does is when you're going against the Golden Rule like that, it not only affects the individual who's doing it, because you're lowering your vibrational rate to a lower level. It also creates resentment and even anger and hatred by the people that are being directly affected by it. And so then it perpetuates more of that energy that's detrimental to our evolution. And when more and more people come together to feel that way, it produces this mass consciousness shift, so to speak. And so it's very important for us to understand that when we search for peace within ourselves and we ask for it for others, that we keep at the forefront that we may not judge other people, but we're going to judge ourselves. And that it's important for us to continue to treat each other in the correct way, so that way we may continue to promote that energy out there and continue our evolution moving forward. So our purpose in life is to evolve, and we do this by making the world a better place. And I have peace on the brain. And so I just know that when you start to look at just a lack of conflict versus a deeper level of peace, which is the energy and vibration or frequency that peace carries, and how it affects our emotional state and our thoughts, which is a combination of our consciousness, we can start to understand what Jesus talked about when he said the peace that passeth all understanding, which is love. And for me, that struck an idea. So many of us have read Harry Potter, we've watched Harry Potter, but it's in our mass consciousness.
And the concept with Harry Potter is when Voldemort killed Harry's parents and he tried to kill Harry, Harry's mother's love created a shield around Harry that bounced back or reverberated the spell that Voldemort had cast, and it had hit Voldemort, so he wasn't able to touch Harry. And that was something that was prevalent throughout all of the books until it really became revealed in the last one, that the force of love was a deeper magic that transcended all other magic. And so you can see that with your own life. You can see that with your kids. You can see that with the healing effects of love, unconditional love, and just where you care about each other, you care about yourself, you can love yourself, which allows you to love other people. The easiest way to make a change in the world is to first love yourself, because when you love yourself, and you care about your well-being enough, what that allows you to do, it's not selfish to care about your well-being. What that allows you to do is it allows you to become a better version of yourself, and when you're a better version of yourself, you can affect other people in a much better way. If you hate yourself and you're constantly in conflict and turmoil, you can't be that type of person you want to be to your friends and your family and your loved ones. So it's just something I wanted to encourage you all to do and understand, is that we're not special. Again, we're tools or vessels that, when you keep an open mind, you allow this energy that's transformative to pass through you into the world and into the earth. And I just wanted to highly encourage each and every one of you to find it within yourselves, again, publicly or anonymously. Participate in the meditations. Watch them as many times you want. Watch them continuously. Watch them once a day if you need to. But just participate, send your energy, and if all else, just be nicer to yourself and nicer to other people around you, because that will definitely change the world in more ways than you could probably think. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day. And again, I'll provide the links down below to more information, to the Peace page on the Bridge to Peace Project's website, as well as a link to Guy's explanation of the meditation that will be held on April 22nd, as well as the link to the actual meditation that will be held on April the 22nd. Peace and love.